Welcome to Season 2 of the Breakaway Breakdown podcast, the official podcast of the Breakaway Roping Journal. This season, we're bringing you all the interviews you love with the top ropers in the game, news about what's happening in the industry, training tips, and so much more. Plus, we're expanding to bring you news from other events that you love, like goat tying and tie-down roping. I'm your host, Casey Allen. Let's jump in. Hey everybody, happy Halloween if you're listening at the time of this episode's release. If you are out trick-or-treating or terrorizing the streets with your kids, I hope that you are having a great time. And if you're cuddled up inside trying to avoid the cold like many people, welcome. Glad to have you listening. Now, as the seasons are changing, that also means our coverage at the Breakaway Roping Journal and at calfroping.com switch up a bit. We go from the hardcore rodeo results every week and people being out on the road to a lot more futurities, a lot more open shows, jackpots, and of course, we're also covering circuit finals and getting you guys prepared for all things NFR and National Finals Breakaway Roping. So today, in the vein of switching that coverage a little bit, I am very excited to present today's guest to you. I had the opportunity to give a call to a great rope horse trainer who has been in the industry for decades. He's been to the NFR. He is one of the winningest men when it comes to AQHA world. He's got over 24 AQHA world championships and reserve championships. He's trained tons of good horses, some of the best in the business. He is a family man. His wife's a barrel racer. I'm talking about the one and only C.R. Bradley. Now, the reason I got to give CR a call was because he just won the AQHA World Show Breakaway Roping, which, as I found out, was the first year that they've had breakaway roping at the World Show. So shout out to the AQHA for including breakaway ropers and getting on board with that. And he had just a brief little bit of downtime between showing in the calf roping and team roping at the AQHA World Show. And then he's going to head right over to the Regatta Buckle. Not that far of a drive. We're just talking from Oklahoma City to Guthrie. And we'll probably run into CR at the end of the week at Regatta Buckle. So I wanted to make sure that I got this episode out to you guys quickly to keep you in the loop so that you're not missing a moment of action. Now, like I said, CR doesn't need much of an introduction outside of he knows his stuff when it comes to the horses, the industry, just all parts of it. So today's episode, you're going to hear a lot more technical details. You're going to hear what it's like to rope at the AQHA World Shows. We also get into the breakaway and tie-down roping futurities and what people can expect there, because I do feel like there's a little bit of a barrier for a lot of people to get into these events. And, they might be intimidated by them. They might not understand all the ins and outs, that these events actually have a place for amateurs. They have a place for young horses, and they have a place for open horses also. As you're going to hear, the mare that he won the AQHA World Show on is an 18-year-old. I'm not going to give her breeding away because we talk about that in the episode, and she is bred outstanding. We do as much as we can to break down those barriers and make these worlds less scary, less elusive for you guys to get into so that you don't feel intimidated and we can continue to advance the sport forward. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it off to CR. I think you guys are really going to enjoy this conversation, and I'm going to tell you more about our great sponsor, Fastback Ropes, at the commercial break. Thank you again for talking to me today.
Oh, no problem.
So where are you at now? Are you still in Oklahoma?
We're still in Oklahoma City. We still have the finals of the calf roping and the team roping still to go. A couple days. And then we go to the Regatta.
Well, awesome. I'll see you at the Regatta then.
Yep.
So talk to me about the horse that you won the breakaway on out there.
So Sparkys Golddigger, she's 18. She's owned by Brandon and Dina Bowers of Haskell. I've been showing her for 5 years in the calf roping, and we've won reserve on her at the World Show, and we've won third 3 times. We've been waiting for the gold buckle, but we finally got the breakaway. So this is the first year for the breakaway.
Oh, okay.
AQHA World. It's the first time they crowned an open world champion at AQHA in breakaway.
Oh, wow. Was it just futurity before that?
So no, they didn't have. They had an amateur breakaway, where you couldn't be a professional. And they've had that forever. Where non-professionals, they had a breakaway, but they've never had an open breakaway before at all. So this was the first one.
Oh, wow. So for the person that knows nothing about how the AQHA shows work, I mean, how do you get to that point? Like with the qualifying shows, how does that work?
So you do have to qualify for the world show, which this year it was only 1 point because it was the first year. I'm sure next year it'll go up a little bit. But it paid really good. I won like $9,700.
Oh, heck yeah.
Like even fifth paid good. So, I mean, there's a little bit of added money to AQHA, and they have the entry set up. It's kind of expensive, but you pay the AQHA entry fee, and then they have a side pot that's 100% payback. The side pot's totally paid back to the class. So it's paying all the classes, all the roping classes are paying good this year.
And then how is that mare bred?
She is, I got papers right here. By Zan's Diamond Shine, who is a Shining Spark stud that Trevor showed at the World Show. It's been a while. But he won the calf roping and healing on him at the World Show a long time ago. Okay. And a mare that went back to Colonel Freckles. And she was bred by Dennis Schroeder in Oklahoma. Jeff Carney trained her when she was young and showed her. And then Jerome Schneeberger had roped on her for a while and took her to the horse shows and rodeoed on her, I think, a little bit. But I've just been involved in the last 5 years with her. And William Wayne rode her the first round of the American 2 years ago. He won the Challenger Series to get in the American a couple years ago, and he rode her the first round. Didn't draw a very good calf, and I rode her the WCRA, one of their finals, or not finals, but one of the qualifiers for the big rodeos.
Like William Wayne, like Humpty?
Yeah, Humpty. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, Humpty. Yes, Humpty rode her at the American first round like 2 years ago.
Oh, cool.
And she's been rodeoed on a little bit. But she's a really good calf horse. And her or I haven't breakawayed since I was a teenager, and I don't know that she's been breakawayed on a lot, but I went to some the ultimate ropings this year and roped in the 40 this fall to get ready for it, because I haven't thrown that fast for a while.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how did you switch things up for the breakaway?
So I practiced this year, or mostly this fall. I practiced. They had it was kind of a rumor that they might judge it like the Futurities, like do the have the judges score, then do the time added onto it. But they ended up it was just on time this year.
Oh, so it was just slinging.
So it was just time. I was 1-7. Had a pretty good calf. Start wasn't a whole. I mean, you just had to let the calves do anything before you, and it was a little bit faster setup than I thought. But it was we got it on. She stopped really hard. I think that's what second was 1-8, and there's a 1-9 and 2-1. Also, right, I was the last one to go, so I kind of knew what I had to do. But I roped him, and the mare stopped really hard. So got a good flag.
Heck yeah. So I'm going to get a little bit technical here, because some of our listeners, they might not fully understand the difference in the styles, like you're talking about with the scoring versus the time. So just kind of break that down for me as a rider, what you do differently with those horses when it's timed versus scored.
So normally the AQHA, most of the classes are scored. They judge your horse starting at 70, and then they plus or minus each maneuver. They can plus or minus a half or a 1 up to 3 or -3, and then they got penalties if they're bad. So normally we're just trying to show the horse. So we're trying to set the run up. They judge them in the box. They judge a running rate, stop, like working roping and calf roping, or the set and steer, team roping and facing. The mare won I was a high score in the prelims this morning in the calf roping. She's a 231.5 in the first round, and our finals are tomorrow for it. But she was great in the calf roping today too. But for the judge part, you don't really have to go that fast. It's more about making a really good run. Like you run them all the way in there and try to set them up good in the middle of the arena, and just go make a good run. Being fast doesn't really have anything to do with it. Of course, you don't want to be too long where it looks bad, but he's fun to make a nice smooth run. And they're watching the horse to see how well trained they are and how well they work.
And I imagine, like, if you're going in a scored competition and you're trying to be, 1-7 or 1-8, you probably don't get a chance to show your horse off as much.
No, you don't. And that's like, you don't really, in the calf roping, like the scored part, you don't really want to rope them too fast. Like you kind of want to run to the middle of the arena and run them run your horse all the way in there and show that they can run all the way there, then rate and then rope. So you don't really, no, I have not practiced going that fast since I was a teenager.
I want to be I want to be like a fly on the wall in the practice pen when you're trying to remember how to go.
I was really good as a teenager. Like, well, they have breakaway at the quarter horse shows for the youth too, for under 18. And I practiced a lot back then. But like, even when I rodeoed, when I was a calf roper rodeoing, I didn't really like to rope them in 2 swings. I feel like I could run 3 swings and set everything up and time faster running them 1 more swing. So I hadn't practiced the 2 swings in, I guess, 30 years. I'm getting old now. But no, I roped the dummy a lot, and the ultimate ropings helped me a little bit too. It was good to get out and go somewhere and try it.
I'm going to switch directions a little bit here.
Yeah.
When you're training one, if you're training one to go more a breakaway direction for somebody versus more of a tie down direction, or is there anything you do differently in your training process besides, obviously tying down on the horses?
Not really. I have figured it out this fall that you do need them to stop. Boy, they can't slide very far, or your time doesn't stop very fast. I figured that out this fall going to the jackpots. You want them to still stop smooth, but calf roping, well, especially now that I'm a little bit older, I like them to give me a little bit of time in their stop and slide. I mean, go to the ground with their hind end first and give me a little time to get off before they finish it and breakaway. I'm big on timing. And like this mare, when she was a little bit younger, she was pretty tight, but I'm really big on working on timing. Like I want them to let me throw the rope and still be running. I mean, still be running through my throw. And then when I pull my slack, really stop. But now she has really good timing on her now, and she'll let me throw. But when she goes to the ground, it's hind end first, but it's pretty deep and it's pretty quick.
Today's episode is brought to you by Fastback Ropes. Fastback Ropes offers 2 options for breakaway ropers. One of them is for calf ropers as well, and that is the Fastback Edge. The Edge is a 4-strand calf rope made of texturized poly. It's a tough and durable rope that is made to stand up in all conditions and outlast the competition. Some of its claims to fame are that it stays true no matter what weather conditions you're in. It has very little stretch, and it's a very low maintenance rope. This is a great one for beginners. It's very easy to take care of, very durable, and it's just a very smooth and quick rope. Now, for breakaway ropers, especially those that prefer a core in their rope, the Pink Athena rope is a phenomenal breakaway rope. It's a 4-strand rope with a purple dyed poly core. The poly core provides an enhanced tip weight and durability. It's a tough and durable rope made to stand up in all conditions and has a very snappy finish in close. Both of those ropes are available in an extra soft and soft lay. For more information, head to www.fastbackropes.com. Again, that's www.fastbackropes.com. And be sure to follow them on social media and thank them for supporting breakaway ropers. Okay, back to today's episode. Now, as far as a rider, when you're setting up those stops, you talked about timing. What does your timing look like with your throw, how you're riding? I mean, you can get as technical as you need to.
Sure. Well, I never did get off. I wasn't ever great at getting off. I never did double barrel or get off in front of them. But so I like them to go. I like to finish my throw, and it really mattered. Like I think it's the most important thing is they hit their hind end first and don't use their front end at the beginning. And especially the calf roping. So that like if they'll drop their butt, they can kind of drop their butt when you're finishing throw, but they're kind of sliding and it's smooth. And then when I pull my slack, I want them to get into the stop, but I don't really want them to finish until the very end with their front end. This mare does it really good. Her shoulder. I'm big on keeping her shoulders up, and that helps do that. Like if you got the shoulders up, then their hind end goes down first, and it's way easier to get off of, and it's way smoother. And then kind of when the rope the calf gets the end of the rope, then I kind of wanted to finish and push off and go back.
Okay, that makes sense. So if somebody's looking to get into the showing world or get into, like, let's say the AQHA world, is there anything like special rules or anything that you've learned along the way? I know I could probably talk to you for hours about that, but anything that really jumps out that people kind of don't realize when they get into it?
Not really. So you enter a show, you have to qualify for the world show. So you have to go to some core shows during the year that have roping. And like in calf roping, you don't use a jerk line in a calf roping, no metal tie downs or chain tie downs. But not much. So like in calf roping, they have like each show will have a judge, or sometimes they have 2 or 3 judges, and each judge gives a set of points. And then for like every 5 exhibitors, there's one point up to like 45. They give 9 points. So first wins. If there's 45 in and there's 9-point class, first gets 9 points, and second gets 8, and down the line to ninth gets 1. So you're trying to get points during the year to get qualified for the world show. Okay. And then the world show is kind of where you win the world. They do have a high point for the year, whoever gets the most points. But mostly we're trying to get the world show and then try to win the world show. Okay.
So it's not really that scary.
No. And then there's some good shows. The stock shows have really big roping. Fort Worth and Houston and Jackson all have really good quarter horse shows with them.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So, and the world, and then they have an amateur division that you can have a professional card or train horses for other people. And an amateur, you have to ride your own horse.
Okay.
So, but the world show it's paying really good this year. I bet that there's 120 in the Heelan. I bet it'll pay 30,000 win the Heelan.
Dang.
Yeah. No, it's paying really good. Calf roping will pay over 10,000. I'm sure there's about 50 in both the junior and senior calf roping. And most of the classes are divided, junior and senior. Juniors, horses 5 and under, and then seniors for horses 6 and over. But the breakaway being its first year, they just had one open division for the breakaway this year.
Mm-hmm. Now that Chelsea mentioned that sire had some really great breakaway horses. I think Jackie's T-Boy, and maybe her Hail Mary horse that she's got now.
Yeah. That's a good. I remember that stud, and I rode a couple by him, and he's a good horse. They could run a little bit, and they were good horses. This one, she's a full sister to Jake Long's, the older Sorrel heel horse as horse of the year. Was it Colonel? I don't know if that's right.
I think Colonel.
But yeah, Colonel, that was horse of the year, the Sorrel. This one's a full sister to him.
Are there any other bloodlines that you've been liking for the breakaway or calf horses, or any that you've been riding lately?
I have a couple of metallic cats, and they're very athletic. I'm starting to, but I had both hips replaced last year, so I haven't rode as many calf horses this year. I just started tying down again about a month and a half ago. After the hip replacement, but so I haven't had very many new ones lately.
Okay, so now I'm going to grill you about that, because we've had some people ask about coming back from, injuries or surgeries. And I mean, I imagine, was there any kind of adjustment for you coming back, or did you have any hurdles?
No. So I started riding after 2 months. I had both of them replaced. It's about 6 weeks apart, and it went well. And I started riding about 6 to 8 weeks after the second one.
Oh, wow.
And riding's been fantastic. I didn't even try to tie down until this summer because I really wasn't in a big hurry. I didn't need to till the world show. And biggest thing, I had to get back in shape. And I was weak. Like, my hips felt really good, and I was flexible and could sit on a calf, but I wasn't strong enough, and I had to go to the gym. I went to the gym 4 days a week and worked out pretty hard for the last 2 months, and that really helped.
Did you work with a trainer, or?
No, I have in the past. No, I didn't. I maybe should have. My son has trainers for basketball and everything, but get in shape, but I didn't go to one. But the main thing, I wasn't strong enough. like I tried to clean calves one time about 3 months ago, and it was awful. But so I had to get stronger, and since then it's been good.
So dare I ask, how old are you?
46.
40s. Okay.
Yeah. So
you're a spring chicken.
My weakness. I'm a calf roper. Then I feel old as a calf roper.
So, okay, when you were in the gym, what are some of those exercises that you were doing to build your strength back up?
Well, I started cardio, the elliptical, then I run on treadmill, squats, not too heavy a weight. I mean, I didn't do any like big weights, but more like squat, like wall sit squats, then lunges.
Okay. Using those body weight exercises.
Yeah. I didn't do heavy weights because I was scared with my artificial hips. I didn't do super heavy.
Didn't trust those yet.
Yeah, I didn't do. And then just some legs, like machine stuff on my legs. Just try to, and it took me, after about a month, it started really helping. It's way better now.
Awesome. So with that being the first AQHA show that, had Breakaway at the World Show, what was the turnout like? Just kind of talk to us about what that event looked like. Was it mostly guys showing up? Was it a lot of girls? Did they have a good turnout?
It was about half and half. The shoot as much as it paid, you think more people would try it next year. It was about half. Ryan Jarrett won second. I think a lady did one fourth. But no, I think it could get tough. And I think for as much as it pays, I think more people could do it. And it'll pay, like if they get even a few more, it'll pay. They're good about paying down, and it's not too top heavy. But it's going to pay really good the way that we have the pay scale set up now.
Interesting.
And it cost about $1,000, well, $1,000 to $1,200 to enter the World Show. But $10,000 is worth it.
It's nice that you can do it on any age horse, though.
Yeah, this year it was any age, and even they do split a junior senior. You can still show 5 and under in one class and 6 and over in the other class. And so this year, being the first year, they only did one round. I'm sure after this year, it's going to be like you'll run one prelim round and take top 15 to the finals probably next year.
Okay, that's how the calf roping and team roping are set up.
Yeah, and it's a clean slate finals.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Now, calf roping, is that scored like normal, or is that just time?
Yeah, it's scored. No, it's totally scored. Everything in AQHA, and they don't do like the Futurity. There's no time added on or anything. It's strictly scored. At the World Show, there's 5 judges, and they drop the high and low score and add the other 3 together. Oh, and so like the normal, like say like the stock shows in Fort Worth and stuff, there'll be 3 judges, but they're basically separate, and you get points for each judge. So the combined doesn't really matter. It's just each judge is its own show, basically.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. So you've been doing this a long time. You've seen kind of the whole industry evolve. We've been talking a lot about where the calf roping and tie down futurities are going, and what do you see coming up, or what are some events that you're excited about?
I'm going to go to the gold buckle futurities this winter. I think it's good. We kind of lost some of the calf roping futurities this year. The Royal Crown had some good ones. I didn't rope calves this year, Adam, because I wasn't ready. But they sure pay good. And I do have one of mine entered at the AQHA Breakaway. Cheyenne McCartney's going to ride him.
Oh, sweet.
Thursday. Yep. So I'm excited about that too. That thing's going to the whole thing, the whole AQHA buckle looks really good. So I think gold buckle, and as much money as they're adding, mine are in the stallion incentives too. The gold buckles, I think that'll pay really good too.
I get you. Are you planning on sending any to Ruby Buckle? Do you have any in that?
I haven't had any in the past. I don't think I've had any bred that way, except for my wife's barrel horse. But and they did break away on him the first year they had it, but it wasn't with me yet. But he's a better barrel horse than he is a breakaway horse. So I don't know if we'll do that.
At Ruby last year, I think there was a lot. I was there last year, and I think there was a lot of them that were more barrel horses.
Yeah, this one is.
Are there any like barrel bloodlines that you'd want to rope calves off of?
I did breed. So my old roan mare, she has a filly that team rope on. That's a Lion Share of Fame. So we bred her to winner's version.
Oh, wow.
Of course, I'm not sure. It'll probably be a head horse, not a breakaway horse. But I really like the winner's versions for the heading in barrels. The breakaway, that Colonel Freckles that this mare goes back to, boy, they used to produce a lot of good ones that all made good calf horses.
Was there anything I'm missing about this mare or the World Show? Or, I mean, I'm probably going to be talking to you at some point at Riata.
She's done really good in the calf roping leading up to that. And she really hadn't been breakaway on a lot. I mean, I took her to one of the ultimate ropings, and I think I won the 4D on her, the one I took her to, but she really hadn't been breakaway on much. She's just been a calf horse, but she scores really. She's a solid calf horse. She scores really good and really leaves off my hand. Stops really good. So she's just easy to rope on.
Mm-hmm. With her being 18, have they done anything special to keep her going?
No, they get embryos out of her, and she doesn't have a real hard life. She gets embryos. We get her qualified usually for the World Show, and then they get embryos out of her in the spring. So she has all fall spring, and then I kind of leg her back up and start roping on her about in August, 1st September.
Okay, so she's a mama too.
Yeah, so she's had quite a few babies. So.
Awesome.
But I think, I don't know how old the oldest ones are, but.
Awesome. And what do you guys call her?
Sparkys. Barn names either. We kind of call her Sparkles, or her owner calls her Dig.
Sparkles. Nothing inspires fear like a horse named Sparkles.
Sometimes I call her Yellow, but yeah, she's easy and really super easy to be around and good horse, real good horse.
Awesome. Are you pumped up to watch the breakaway finals this year?
Oh yeah, we will. I think the breakaway's grown so much. It's a great event, and I think that's why AQHA added it, just because breakaway's gotten so big.
Awesome. Well, I will be seeing you at Riata, and thank you again for your time today.
Okay, thank you.
All right, bye-bye. All right, you guys, I hope that this interview gave you a little bit of a deeper understanding into how the AQHA shows work, how the Futurities work, the scored competitions, and maybe gave you a little bit more confident if that's a world that you've been looking to dive into. Personally, my favorite part of this interview was CR discussing the timing and his stops. I think that that's a really great piece of information. I know that I've struggled in the past with my breakaway horses, really setting up those stops and the timing because I came from a barrel racing background. And let's be for real, the breaks are not the most important thing sometimes in the barrel racing. So anytime that I can pick somebody's brain on their style of stopping, how they train it, how they ride it out, I always jump on that opportunity. Now, coming up, as I mentioned before, we are heading straight to Guthrie for the Riata Buckle. We're excited to see a lot of those guys and girls come over from the AQHA World Show, which is in Oklahoma City, straight over to Guthrie at the Lazy E. We're going to be there for the richest breakaway roping of the year at the Riata Buckle, and I'm going to do my best to make sure that you guys are getting the best information out of Riata. So again, if you're thinking about getting on a Riata Buckle horse, getting involved in that event in 24, it's not a scary thing. You can kind of understand how to get involved. Also super excited to watch CR's horse with Cheyenne McCartney. Those of you that have been longtime breakaway fans, you probably know her as Cheyenne Gullery. She was one of our recent guests on the episode. Make sure to go back and check that out. She got married to tie-down roper Cody McCartney, so congratulations to them both. We will be seeing them at Riata. Make sure that you're following us on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook to keep up with all things rodeo, futurity, open shows that we're covering on the breakaway roping side, and then head over to calfroping.com. Follow us on social there if you want to keep up with calf roping news. We're covering circuit finals right now. We have an article about to come out on the horse of the year. That was Shelby Beaujolais' Anna for the pro rodeos. So just a lot of things happening. You guys want to make sure you're staying in the loop before the national finals breakaway roping and the NFR coming up in December. Now, if you head to breakawayropingjournal.com, you can find this episode and other articles if you want to dive deeper into any topics like futurity. I'm going to link the articles that we have on the Team Roping Journal about Jake Long's Colonel horse that is a full sibling to the mare that CR won the World Show on. And then we're also going to have some articles on T-Boy and Hail Mary linked in there, so you can read about the other paternal siblings of that mare. If you're in the market for a rope, make sure you head to www.fastbackropes.com and check out the Athena and the Edge. Again, that's at fastbackropes.com. And be sure to follow them on social media as well. Let them know that you're listening. Let them know that you are grateful that they are supporting breakaway ropers. Be sure to stay tuned in to this podcast because we have some outstanding interviews coming your way from rodeo folks and futurity trainers in the next few weeks. I hope that wherever you're at, you are staying warm, you are staying dry. Spooky season is not too spooky for you. And I hope that you are, of course, cashing checks and roping necks wherever you are.